Hey, I am ready for some fun today. I got my coconut water drink going, and I'm down by the beach, and there's some flamingos out there. I think they might have a drink with them too. It might be coconut water just like mine. All right, get ready. We're going to have a great time painting today. Okay, well, we're going to have fun with this painting, that is for sure. Got to wear my fancy hat and my little coconut water drink. It was great. So now let's get started. This will be a fun one. I don't know, some people like to put beach things in their bathroom or hang them up during the summer. I think this will be a fun one to hang in your bathroom in the summertime especially. So, or maybe if you just like to be at the beach. So I've kind of drawn some of it out to get a little more proportion, which might mean if you are watching this on the video, you may want to stop and do some of that so that you can get a little bit of headway on that. I can go over this so you can kind of see. So we want the bulk of the body there, not the neck, but the bulk of the body here, just kind of partly on the canvas. Then we want that long, skinny neck, and then a pretty good sized head. All right, so I'm taking the head all the way up and over and around and down. Then I have a little straw and my coconut drink. So my mom used to cut those coconuts open, and she used to let us drink. She called it coconut milk, but it sure was tasty. You might call it coconut water now. Now you might want to think about what is your favorite kind of sunglasses to wear. What is your favorite color of flower to have? So these remind me, I know they're modern now, but they remind me of the 60s. This is what the older generation, I shouldn't say older, the parent generation of the 60s, and some of us too, but this is what they wore for glasses. We called them the cat eye glasses. I don't know if they have a name for them now or not. Okay, so I kind of didn't get the shape like I wanted first, so I just kind of drew over it because this is going to be black, and then we can put some little white dots on it or whatever color. You may want to decide a different color that you want there. All right, then I want to get me a flower going. I'm going to try to make my flower within one of the petals within here, another one within here, since I went ahead and drew my flamingo on there. Okay, well, I think that's probably about got us going. All right. I don't have the little umbrella in there, but I think I'll do that after I do the water. Let's see, I might want to leave a little space here for those flowers. That way I could make them some color besides pink. All right. Okay, let's get ready to do this. I'm going to start with my yellow and my white colors. I think I want my white a little bit more out like that. All right, white. I need a brush that I haven't used. Yes, sometimes I paint my hands. Oh, it happens. All I know is it happens. If you read about the old masters, you might even hear about some other things they did with when they were painting. Okay, now I'm kind of making this part where the kind of some maybe whipped cream on top. It's kind of a little fluffy because I'll come back in and paint it again in a minute, but I still want to kind of give it some texture. And then this, I want to paint it where it's smoother. I want to get this small brush I used it with some red, so I'm going to get that red out of there real quick. Maybe I have another small brush. I didn't pack as many of my brushes today. I was sorting some of them and didn't get as many packed back up. I still like this guy better. He's sturdier. All right, so I'm going to turn my painting sideways. Can you see where I did the white? And I'm going to paint this white in here. And then I'm going to attempt not to paint on top of it. And if I do, I will fix it. I always have fun when we do these paintings together. Let's see. I was an elementary art teacher, and when I retired, I started helping out at different libraries and offering classes for them, and I love it. I always say I get to do the fun part of teaching now. Well, it gives me a start. Okay, then I'm going to do the yellow, and then we'll start working on the blue. See, I need a kind of a medium-sized brush. I just have, for my brushes, I just have a big amount of brushes, and I just go for it. I just go for it. I don't think you have to have just a certain one for this, that, or something else. Because I want you to have fun with your painting. Right now I'm adding some yellow. It's got some brown in it because it's a little bit of a golden yellow. I'm going to paint this flower. It's got a hair there coming out. Got to watch for those hairs coming out, especially when you get as old as me. Just having a little fun with you. The other day I was doing an in-person program at one of the library branches over here in the Kansas City area, and this lady said, I know your voice. Where do I know your voice from? She said, I know I've heard your voice before. And then she came up with it. She said, do you do those programs for the library, the Mid-Continent Library? And I said, I sure do. It was a fun moment for me, and she enjoyed the fact that she was able to catch on to the fact that it was me. I have a lot of fun interacting with the people I do classes with. And I try to interact with you too. You're out there in the land of computers, the land of the internet, and I'm in front of the videographer painting. All right, there we go. Now let's see. Oh, white here too. Let's get that white blocked in, Sarah. My mother said it was all right if you talked to yourself but not answered. So I don't really go by that anymore. I just do it both ways. I just kind of smile to myself and go, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I always just kind of kept going. When I was teaching in the classroom, I taught elementary art. I kind of kept going just to kind of keep the kids going. I'd, talk about something that would kind of keep them going with their projects. All right, now I want light. I want a sky, a blue sky. See if I can add a little more blue in there. All right, I want to get a small brush so I can go around the edges of where the flamingo is going to be. Another trick I do is when the brush gets rubbed off on the side, especially when I have a lot of students that do that, I can still use that for a small brush to outline or to do a small area. So that's what I use those for. Oh, it's got a hair. I've had a lot of those in the paintings I've done here recently. So I'm going to go around like this, and then I'm going to pull it straight out like we would have for the sky. But I need to be able to get in there tight in the beginning here. Switch brushes. Some of the secret to doing this in an hour, like we want to accomplish it, is to use bigger brushes and not put quite as much detail in it as we might otherwise, especially the shading and the roundness that we might. That's something you can certainly add in. Sometimes I even suggest that you almost always I talk about it, is that you could add that in by taking a pencil and putting a little of the graphite there on the edges of whatever the shape is that you want it to become rounder. You could also, use the paint, get your really small brush, and go back in there and add more darkness to the edges of the item, a little lighter in the middle, or whichever way your shade is, and whichever way your sun is. Okay, I'm going to turn this upside down. Okay, I dip in water. I don't stir because I don't want too much. I don't want too much water on it. I want it to be nice to spread across. I want the sky to kind of vary a little bit. Okay, I'm looking for a little brush. Oh, let's see. I'll take that one. Sometimes I lick my finger and I twist it. You might not want to do that if it's a public, if you're using someone else's brushes, but I do that quite often with my own. So I want to just go carefully around. Sometimes the gift of gab does not gab when you're trying to do some small detail work. Have a little more trouble at talking when I'm trying to do that kind of work. Okay, I'm getting it. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. All right, we're making it happen. Making it happen here. I'm dipping in see the little pieces of paint there? It's getting dry, so I just dipped it. I didn't stir, I dipped. Because I want a little bit of water, not a lot. Okay, see if I can get my little bit fine work going here. Sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to do this when I'm doing it in front of the camera, because I like to stand up when I'm presenting, so I don't have quite as much of a steady hand as I would if I were sitting down. Okay, so I can keep an outline in here. What color dots are you going to put on your glasses? Or are you going to put some kind of shape instead of dots? Sometimes I'll look at the glasses, like I said, they remind me of what the old ladies wore when I was a kid. And now they're in fashion again. The fashions come and go. Oh, there was something the other day that, oh, I know what it was. It's those wide bottom pants. I wore them in the 60s. I wore them in the 60s and the 70s. I don't want to wear them again. I'm short, and those, it's hard to get pants short enough for me. And then you have that bell bottom on there. I'm done with those. I left those back in the 70s. However, the granddaughters, they sure do like them. That is for sure. It is fun, though, that these days, back when I was young, if you didn't wear the same thing that everybody else wore, you were just kind of a misfit. And nowadays, there's a little bit more openness to style, and a style that you pick. Well, that's a very good thing. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna try this for the center. I'll give it time to dry, and then if I decide I don't like it, I can change it. All right, I'm turning it back around. I got a couple spots up there that I still need to get more of the sky blue color on. I think this flamingo must be at some exotic place with the color the water is. Have you ever had the flamingos in your yard? Has anybody ever put them in your yard? In the front yard? Not at my house. Nobody's ever tried that. Maybe it's a good thing I taught elementary school instead of high school. High schoolers might have tried it a few times along the way. They certainly did try all different kinds of ways for my name back in the day. And that was in the 80s. That wasn't even, who knows what they do with it now. I got a little too much blue there. Need a little white mixed in that. See if I can pull some of that. I'm trying to pull some of that darker blue where I was working on that outline, pull it down, and then I want to make it go across. Okay, I'm dipping it just a little bit in that water. Once in a while I dip it just a little bit. It's a little too blue still. So add a little white. So we got a tint of blue, not a shade, a tint. Put a little bit out here so that the color, if there's color variation there, there's a little bit of that color that I'm using out here. Okay. All right. Put a little white, more white up here, I think. Then we'll move down. Okay, now we're going to make that water a turquoise color. And I'm going to try to avoid my straw. And then we talked about that turquoise is green. Add a little green to your blue, to just a regular blue. Now the closer to a primary blue it is, the better it is. And then of course I'm going to add a little white because I don't want it to be this color. I want it to be a lighter color, kind of like the sea and down in some of the islands, some of the, like down in Mexico kind of way. Okay, let's just take this one. And it's got the blue from the sky, but I think I can just do it on top here and add a little of this white. So just mix until I get the color I want. Okay. So we're somewhere that they don't have to worry about there being a beach line over there in our painting. So they're way down some of those islands. Looks like it to me. I've never been down that way. Well, maybe, I mean, I went to Nicaragua, I guess, but I went for a mission trip, so I really didn't get to see the ocean. I did see a big lake that was huge. It was just very, very huge. But we didn't get to go into any beaches. So I'm trying to go very careful. So I'm going down right now, but then I want to go across here in a minute. And since I don't think there's the problem with the drying process on this one to get ready to paint something else, I've made the paint on this painting a little thicker than some of those others because we're not going to paint a lot on top of each other. I think the only thing is the little umbrella right there. And I did leave room for the flowers, so there won't be too much overlap there. Because when you need to let it dry in between, that's when it starts taking more time. And of course, all the fine work that people want to add details sometimes takes a long time. Okay, so I blocked it in. So now what I want to do is kind of make it go side to side. And I want to add a little white on top here. Kind of blending it down, but not totally in. And if I kind of do some pieces like that, some places like that, then it gives it a little bit of a wave kind of feel. paint, 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 paint. I sure do like to paint. Okay. Let's see. It's dry enough. I'm gonna turn it upside down. And I'm gonna paint in here. Okay, I want to outline, don't I? Yes, I want to outline. Don't want to mix my blues and my pinks together here. So I need to outline here. Oh, and I don't want to mix in the white, so I've got some outlining to do. So I'm going to try to go pretty slowly, making sure my paint's dry there on the sky. Okay, just trying to go very carefully and outlining. Okay, carefully, carefully. Okay, now I'm gonna come back and go across. I have to watch this brush because it's gonna lose some more bristles today. A little white in there. Got a glob on my paintbrush, so I just went ahead and added it to that other side. We'll get over to there in a minute. All right, I'm just gonna have to switch to the little one to make this happen. Sometimes there's paintings like that. Might be able to get a little closer there. Okay. Okay, let's see. We can go back across, back across. I kind of want to do what I did before, is add a little white. Kind of fun to look out at the ocean and see some of the white caps that come along. Now sometimes you gotta get up and stretch on a painting like this. All right, I'm gonna turn it back around. I'm turning it back around so it's the right side now, and I wanted a place there that I could paint some bigger spots and press my arm from the little stuff. Got some more little stuff to go here. Okay, now let's see if I can get that across in here. Hopefully I painted enough that I can make that happen. If not, I'll go back and we'll do a little more. Maybe I can use this in between brush right there. That works good. Works good. All right. I'll turn it a little bit sideways here. I'm going to outline right there again. Outline around my coconut water. When I went to the beach in Fort Lauderdale in 76, I still have the coconut that I picked up on the beach. I know I keep things other people don't. I used it as props, and I used it as drawings and paintings and all when I wanted something a little bit different for the kids to have. A lot of kids didn't know that's what it was because it had the outer husk on it. And then, of course, they wanted to open it up. I was like, it's a little old. I don't think it would be good anymore. I stayed with a lady when I was down there whose parents owned a grove. And every morning we had fresh fruit from the grove. It was as the grapefruits were as sweet as oranges are here in Missouri. I could not believe that was a grapefruit. It's just so surprising to me how sweet. She said, well, this is how they always are. And I was like, well, not in Missouri. Of course, it's fun to move and live different kinds of places because then you get new experiences. Or maybe you take vacations and get new experiences. That's another way that you can do it. My mother was one of those, of course she was a teacher too. She was one of those who was just always out to teach us children something new. So we were doing that all the time. Just some new experience. But she went from, when she was 12 or 13, she went from a one-room country school in Tennessee to a school in Detroit, Michigan that was a block long, a block wide, and 3 stories tall. Because her daddy worked in the airplane plants in Detroit during the World War II. So she had some new experiences in Detroit compared to that one-room country school and a place where they grew all their food. So every time I look back, I was like, I need to make that lighter. No, that needs to be lighter. Okay. All right, I think we've about got that part done. So are we about ready to break out the pink? Anybody ready to break out the pink? I think I might be ready to break out the pink. Let's see now, pink is what? Red and white. Because it's actually a tint of red. A tint we're adding in the white. I cannot convince my granddaughter that that's true. She doesn't always believe her teacher grandma. You know how kids are. Sometimes they're just that way. All right, let's see. There's a little umbrella there too. I need the pink. This stays white. Maybe I need another layer of white before I get too deep into some of the other. See, this one right here is white. Because right there needs a little patch up of white. I want to make sure this whipped cream looks like whipped cream. As much as a painting can look like it. Make it look like it's fluffy. And I want to paint this part of the beak head. I'm not sure that I have my anatomy right for my which part's called what. Okay. All right, and we're going to leave this and this till the end because that's going to be black. And black's going to cover up a lot of things. And then we want to add a little more white on this too for those flowers. All right, time to start the pink. Get a clean big brush, lots of white, a little bit of red. So I'm going to want to just bring a little bit of red over because if we don't, that red's going to dominate. We don't want that red to dominate. And you know what I need to do? I need to get some more white because there was still a little bit of white, a little bit of blue too close. Our turquoise blue was too close to the pink, the red and the white. So I have to take a little bit of that away. Let's see. I think I'm just going to get a whole new plate. This one's dry. So I can just put it wherever I want it. But as much of that as I'm going to be using, I don't want to have to worry about pulling those other colors in. All right, So since the red is the color that kind of dominates when you use it, we're going to take it over to the edge of the white. We want to mix up quite a bit because the flamingo is pretty good size for our canvas. All right, here we go. Now, that's better. So I'm going to just paint the whole thing first, and then I'll come back and add in some more texture to it and some other lighter color streaks. And then I'm going to also have to block in the sections like I did with the small brush before. Now this is another one of those that I set out by my in my art room, and I just kept going back to and adding a little more white and add a little bit more red and adding more pink and just kind of variety there because I wanted to make it look a little bit like the feathers if I could. Okay, I'm just trying to go very slow. So that I can make a nice line. Then use the bigger brushes for the inside part. So I'm going to dip this, show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to dip it here, and then I'm going to touch a little white. Because I'd like to see if I can just spread a little bit of the three colors so we can see the three. Add a little more white. Okay. Turning it upside down. Just start working on the neck, and I think that most of this is dry. The hardest part will be the edges because I'm going to have to block them in with the smaller brush. Keeps feeling like it's like wet, but it's really just cold. Canvas is a little bit cold to the touch there, where the paint was wet. Just going slow, trying to go steady, Now, if you wanted to, of course, you can go back and get you a pink or some kind of fine line marker, and you could straighten up the line, or you could even like draw it and then outline it that way before you paint. Would be an idea if you're concerned about it. I know we're into the painting now, but if somebody is just watching this before they paint, that's an idea. You could also do a pink color pencil. If you do like a bold red line or black line afterwards, I mean, you could do that. It just doesn't look quite as much like a painting, like, like most people wouldn't want to do that. It's up to you. It's your style. I'm turning it around. It's your style as to what you want to do, but most people would think that'd be too bold of a change there. Whereas the markers, when something is already brown or already black and you're outlining it, it's not as big a contrast. Maybe that's what I should use, the word I should use. You don't note it. It's a subtle notice. This might be the quietest painting I ever did. I'm having to concentrate on that outlining part. So if you want a teacher that rattles a little more about painting and whatever, you might go to one of the other videos. Sometimes I can do it more than others. Okay, I want to take and have that white, little red, little white, kind of streak up. All right, I'm going to turn it upside down again. Okay, a little more outlining. Trying to go real careful, as fast as I can, as carefully as I can. Okay, see if I can use a bigger brush now. All right. Now, see if I can turn it like this, because I want to paint this and this, the little umbrella. And I think I need to repair just a little bit right there. We're getting close on it. Oh, there's a little bit right here that needs to come across. Get a little more pink in there. All right. All right, I'm going to paint this brown first, and then I'm going to work on the black, because the black won't have as much of a streaking in it, because I want little streaks in the brown. Okay, I'm going to get my other plate back. It's got some brown on it. The texture of the canvas with the brown kind of makes you think about the coconut shell. If you don't get it too thick. So I'm just kind of dabbing it, kind of spreading it out. And I'm going to take a look at it. I'll get the whole thing colored in and then take a look at it and see if I need. Because on the other one I added just a little bit of white in there. Okay, I'm going to switch to a little brush. All right, here's one that's clean. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker right there on the edges. For one thing, I went off on the blue. That'll also help it, give it a little bit more roundness. Okay. All right. See if I get my white brush. Now I'm just going to do a little bit, kind of use the texture of the canvas there, I think. I think that'll be a good look. All right. Black and black, and a few little flowers, little green around the flowers. Okay, let's put a little yellow in the flowers in the middle. We're just going to put some little leaves around.
pencil. Just going to outline the flowers, put a few little lines in. Another yellow. All right, I'm going to put just a little bit of yellow out from here. Don't want too much on there. Okay. Now I think we mainly just lack our black. Oh, we lack the little umbrella. I forgot the little umbrella. The black can dry. First to put the little flowers on it while we're doing the umbrella. Turning it upside down again. I think I've turned this one around a lot more than the others that I've been doing lately. It's got a lot more fine work on it. Now, see, sometimes you go out of line. I gotta wipe off the paintbrush. It's getting too much paint on. It's part of the problem. Part of the problem. Needs a little more water. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. All right, then I need a line about like right here. And an umbrella. Okay, so the umbrella's going to kind of just be stuck in like this. See, it has a red section. Trying to get my brush clean enough to go in with the yellow. A little yellow section. The blue will cover up a lot. So, and then a little blue section. Let's put a little dot on top. Okay. I'm going to stick that umbrella just a teeny bit more in there because I don't want it to fall out. Right now it looks like it could fall out. All right. And then we need those white dots on the glasses, and we'll have a wrap here. So you could choose another design if you want, but I did the white dots just because it's easy. And if you mess up, I shouldn't say anything yet, should I? If you mess up, you can always just repaint it black and do it again. All right, let's turn it back around. Here's the sample, and here's the one we did today. You know, there's always some place that you could go in and make it better. All right, that's a wrap. You all have a great day now. Don't forget to sign it.